But we have changes to our psych degree. Many of you, not all, are psych majors. And so pay attention to what opportunities now exist for you. Let me go out and get rid of all the markings here. I don't know why it saves those. Okay, so just on this first slide, our objective is that we wanted to change our psych program so that people with different directional interests could fulfill that interest here and get onto their career that suits them the best. So our psych major now, you'll be making 3 choices. The course that you're on now is this last one. You have an emphasis on general psychology, and that's all we have. We're also adding an emphasis in addiction counseling, and the coursework will lead to qualify you with the state of Arizona. We've worked with the state, Arizona and New Mexico, and it's going to allow us to have more addiction counselors to serve. There's a lot of unmet need for counselors here in the Navajo Nation, and as you know, for Native people living outside the Navajo Nation. So that's what we hope to do. And then uniquely here, we hope to help you become versatile counselors who will be able to know about Indigenous treatment as well as, Western approaches. So you're going to be well equipped with the tools to meet a lot of needs of your people and people who aren't your, Native as well. So that's going to be another track you can choose. And then you'll also have an option for another track, and I'll talk about it more later. But if you could see yourself someday sitting in this chair, teaching in a college classroom and doing research, then this track right here might be the one for you. It's an emphasis in research methods that would lead you to be able to go on and get your PhD and research and teach. So first, I'm going to start by talking more about this addiction counseling licensure and how it works in Arizona. I focus on Arizona because I've worked with the state of Arizona on this, but not with the state of New Mexico. So I have looked at their requirements, and I believe our coursework will also meet theirs, but I don't have any preliminary groundwork with that state yet. So in Arizona, there are 3 levels of licensure. The first one is that top bullet point, the licensed substance abuse technician. And this degree, they will grant it if you have a certain number of pretty extensive experience and an AA degree that meets the coursework. And you can also get this license with a BA degree. And if you have this particular license, you can work in a treatment facility. You can't do counseling, but you could work in a facility like that's helping people who are recovering from addiction, or you might do intake of new people who come, or deal with, addiction hotlines. And so there'd be a lot that you can do with this, but you can't counsel with this. The next degree is the licensed associate substance abuse counselor, and you can do counseling with this degree. The reason that I got so excited about this when my friend in North Dakota did this for her students is because you can get this license with your BA. Now, that is rare. As you know, in psychology, you need to have usually at least a master's degree to work in a counseling capacity. And this is one that you can get with your BA. And that's why I especially wanted to help our program get this offering. And that allows you to provide counseling services under supervision by a counselor, by someone who's approved and licensed. And we would work with the state to make sure you can find someone like that. Finally, once you have your MA, you can become a licensed independent substance abuse counselor. And this BA and MA both lead in the same direction. I'll go over what the steps are. The MA program, we are ready for it to offer that as well, but we have to get approval from the Higher Learning Commission, which takes more work than we can do, which takes more time. So that'll probably be another year out. So this is what you would do if you were seeking your licensure. The first thing you do is you get this degree. You get this BA that includes these required 3-semester credits in 7 areas. And we've added those courses to our offerings. We couldn't get it done in time for fall semester to have the new classes, but there are other classes you can take toward that aren't new classes. The new classes will be available in spring. Then you take an LSAT exam. And if any of you have known law, you know that there's also an exam called the LSAT for law, but this is just the exam for the licensed substance abuse technician. And we've included a course to help you prepare for that exam, a 1-credit course. And there's a fee for that exam that we're hoping to achieve funding in order that you don't have to pay that fee. So this is a really rich opportunity. Then you're graduated, you have your BA degree, and you've passed your test. Then you work in capacity as an LSAT, and according to the state, these are the work requirements. So you'll work for a couple of years and get paid, all right, as a professional. Then you just submit documentation of that work. You have your supervisor sign that you've worked these hours, and then you get permission to take the LASAC exam. And once you take the LASAC exam, then you, and pass it, then you're able to be a counselor in the state of Arizona. You still have to be under supervision, but you're allowed to do counseling work. And that doesn't mean someone's in the office with you all the time. It just means you have someone that you're checking in with and someone who's checking in on you. All right, but you're allowed to provide those direct services to these people that you want to assist. And so this is the path that you can take toward a career that might be desirable to you, that you can get to with only your BA degree. Now, if you don't go on to get your MA, if that doesn't interest you, you can just stay at this level. However, here at Dene College, let me see if it's here. We do have this plan in place. This should say 25-26 to get the MA degree, which would start you wouldn't have to get that LSAT at all. You would start right off with the LASAC because you'd get a supervised practicum here in graduate school. So your psych major that you have here, people who've done that previously, or if you're graduating, say this semester, you could just enter the master's. But as I said, we're going to have to wait a year because it requires HLC approval. So that one will be delayed, but we hope to have that for you. I'm sure you're very aware of the need because you all live with families and friends and communities. We all do, actually. Addiction is such a problem right now everywhere, not just here. And so I don't even need to mention that. But you may know that the company that put out all the opioids and claimed they were safe, Purdue Pharma, had to pay a hefty price. They went bankrupt. They didn't pay probably enough of a price, some would say, given all the lives that they have harmed or ended. But nevertheless, they paid enough of a price that government formed something called the American Rescue Plan Act. And they gave it to all the communities that were greatest impacted by this opioid addiction. Among those was the Navajo Nation. And the Navajo Nation chose at least to use some of the funds to expand 9 existing outpatient treatment centers, make them bigger, serve more people. Add transition housing in Fort Defiance and Kayenta, and add mental health treatment to the Crown Point Detention Facility. All good steps. We, in our dreams, Jeremiah Barber, you probably all know him, even has talked about whether we could have some space here where our students could even begin providing treatment here once we begin offering that master's level. So we have some dreams for this that won't be in place next year, but that we'll keep pushing toward. And of course, if we're adding all of those facilities, we need additional personnel, which is these people who are graduating from our program. So this is a really nice way to serve the community and fill a need. I'm going to skip through some of these things which were relevant to the proposal to the committee. So the original proposal we made looks like this, and it's changed a little bit following the most recent meeting, so I'll tell you what that is. So this is what we have now. Many of you, if you're in psychology, started with your AA and SBS, social and behavioral sciences, or maybe you're working on that now. And then you're going to go into this BA just in psychology. We were considering adding an AA in psychology, and we've decided not to. The reason that I put it together was so that your 200 level coursework in psychology could be completed before you came into your BA. But you can do the very same thing with this AA and SBS. So we're going to skip that AA in psychology. And what you can do now is get your AA and SBS and continue on to make a choice. You can either get your BA in psychology with an emphasis in research. That would, as I said, lead you to eventually get your PhD. We don't have any terminal degrees here, so that would be elsewhere. And to be well qualified for that program. PhD programs tend to have a high research emphasis. And if you come in without a sound research grounding, it can feel frustrating and like you don't know what you're doing. So we want to give you that grounding for that very small percentage of people who say really has intellectual curiosity, like you really like to know answers, and you really liked your stats class, you want to keep learning more about statistics, you really are interested in reading research papers, this track might be for you. I don't know what Dr. Ami's, I think Dr. Ami and I would be the lead faculty, and I predict that there aren't going to be that many people who follow this track because it's kind of hard, right? But there might be some, and so, but these classes might be real small with just a few students. You could also then choose, and this is what I expect many people will choose, the BA in psychology with the emphasis in addiction counseling, which would lead you to have your LSAT, and then you get your experience and get your LASAC in Arizona. We'll also work toward New Mexico certification, as I mentioned earlier. And then eventually, if you wish to, you could get your MA in general counseling, or you could get it in addiction counseling. And then you would have perhaps your LASAC or a different counseling licensure, depending on your own chosen direction. All this done at Diné College, except for the PhD. The AA, as I mentioned, is not there, but you can meet most of your 200 level coursework through your SBS degree. The BA then would have, you'd have to pass the exam that we would support you for, and then you would eventually get your LASAC license. This degree is a nice degree because we have added courses, required courses in public health and sociology to look at the struggles with addiction from many perspectives. I'll show you the checklist in a minute. And then this BA in research, again, as I mentioned, this is for those people who like to dig in deep intellectually and become professors, and you would be getting, we've added 2 courses, an advanced statistics course and a advanced research methods course, and probably very small courses. And then you'd also be taking Dr. Ami's courses in indigenous research methods. And then for your capstone project, you would be choosing one of the research. You'd actually conduct a research project, and we hope that your research project would be of sufficient quality to get a publication. And getting a publication as an undergrad is a significant step toward getting a very nice position at a PhD-based university, and then come back here and sit in this chair, because Bruce and I, we're getting old. Jeremiah, not so much, but you know, we need more people here. So I'm not going to show you the checklist, actually, I'm just going to go over these. These are the new courses that we'll be offering. We have these first 5 are new courses for the addiction counseling, and there are 2 courses that we already had offered. So we have 7, in essence, 7 courses that are focused on addiction counseling. And then these 2 are the advanced statistics and inferential research methods that we're adding for your capstone project. And so in a nutshell, that's the new program. So are there any questions that I can answer right now about this?
Will it be offered online too, or all in person?
Well, group dynamics. They're not, some of Bruce's class are gonna keep being offered online. I think he is going to take this one. I think Jeremiah Barber is taking this one. I think Marilyn Begay is taking these two, and I'm taking this one. And I offer my classes the same way I do now. I'm not so fond of interacting in a strictly online environment. I like to meet my students. However, this class is going to have a semester, so this will be offered spring semester, and the primary coursework is going to be, in fact, online, but we're all going to meet for 1 week in the summer session on campus, everyone, just 5 days. But everyone's going to come to campus and stay in the dorms because group dynamics, we need to be in groups to do this work. And I'm hoping to team teach this with someone, to be honest. I haven't found out who yet, but I'm hoping that it won't be just me. Maybe it'll be someone who jokes around more or something like that. Okay, that's how that one is. I think Jeremiah is probably going to offer, in-person Zoom. I think Marilyn's going to offer in-person Zoom. I think Bruce is going to stay with his online preference. Okay. We're also hoping to get a new faculty when we start the MA program. That new faculty would be hopefully someone who would really take the lead in this program, someone who's really had quite a bit of experience with counseling. That's the hope. So sometimes it's hard to find faculty, to come. So if you know anyone who might think about doing this, you can put their name in. You will have to apply for the addiction counseling program. And that would mean, very simply, you just need to have a certain GPA and put a couple letters of references together. And there's a little, application form with some questions you'd answer. It's likely that we're not intending to reject people, but we want people to have to be aware that they're coming into a professional position, that you can't just sort of dabble. Like, you have to really want to do this, because your people who are going to work with you who are struggling, they need to know that you're dependable. And so we need to know that at the outset. So even if you had a GPA that wasn't great, you had life things going on, you can put a waiver, and we'll certainly still consider that. What we're looking for is that level of commitment and dedication to serve this people and to do the necessary work to be well prepared. All right. The application form isn't ready yet. Probably it won't be out until fall semester. However, like, for example, health psych is one of the required courses. There are some public health courses that are required. So if any of you are very serious about wanting to do this and the application isn't up yet, because it's just coming forward now, I want you to contact me and I will help advise you on what courses you can take to be starting on that path. Okay? Zoom people, do you have any questions about this? Don't need to call you Zoom people as if you're somehow a different category of human being. Isn't this exciting, you guys? Let me hear some excitement. I'd love to.
It's exciting.
I'm so glad. Yeah, this has been exciting for us too. Okay. On that note, then we'll go on to our second piece. If you do have questions or you want to meet with me in an advising capacity, just let me know. So the second piece is grades. I haven't